Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode. So in this episode, I'm going to be sharing something that I'm about to do in South Korea. And honestly, 10 years ago, I would never, ever imagine sharing about something this personal on social media or in public. But life has brought me in this direction. I think my whole experience as a wellness coach, authenticity is important, and just sharing from this heart space, sharing more about what resonates with me, with the world, and encouraging people to do the same is a big part of what I do. So here I am. And I'm about to go to South Korea for a breast augmentation. And I think a lot of people, the few that I've shared this with, have asked me, the first question is why? And to give you a very short answer, I'm doing it because I want to. I know that I don't need to. And honestly speaking, we don't really need a lot of things in life, do we? We were born without clothes, but we do go out there and put on some clothes. We don't need to get tattoos. We don't need to do bodybuilding. We don't need to drive cars. We don't need to have shopping malls, actually. But we do these things. It's just part of our evolution, part of our progress, so to speak. So I don't think it's a matter of do I need to? I know I don't need to. And it's more of just something that I wish to explore at this point in my life. And I think a big part of what I share in my on my platforms as a wellness coach is also really about creating life experiences that you wish in every sense of the word, emotionally, physically, in every shape and form, so that you are really living your dreams in every sense of the word. So to me, it really vibes with that at this point. And another question that I often get asked from the few people that I've shared this with is, how does this actually go hand in hand with confidence and with body love and in terms of, accepting yourself? And I have to say that self-acceptance to me is really loving yourself enough to do what you want with yourself, in terms of the hobbies that you do, in terms of the work that you do, in terms of your lifestyle. And that is how this really fits in. So I do not view aesthetics or plastic surgery as something that is compulsory to boost your confidence, but rather I think just doing something that resonates with you. In this case, it happens to be aesthetics, but it could be something else. It could be pursuing the career of your dreams. It could be writing a book or doing something that really vibes with you. Then that to me is confidence, So that's how I actually perceive the entire experience. And of course, there are certain risks involved with the surgery. But then again, there are risks involved in different types of medications as well, even if you're taking a drug like penicillin. And frankly speaking, as soon as you step out of the house, even if you don't, the moment you live, there are risks involved with everything. It is dangerous to have additives in our food. It is dangerous to smoke. It is dangerous maybe even to get into a taxi. You're surrendering your life to the driver, and basically, again, there's a risk involved in that as well. So for me, it's not really a question of whether or not you are taking a risk, but rather how do you actually minimize the risk. If there's something that you really want to do your research, So in this case, I actually did a lot of research. I've explored clinics in Singapore as well as in Thailand and South Korea. And the reason why I'm going to South Korea eventually is, first and foremost, South Korea is really the world's capital when it comes to aesthetics and plastic surgery. So the doctors there have got a lot of experience because they've met patients from all over the world, as well as even the South Koreans themselves. And also, I would appreciate at this point the adventure of travel as well. So that gives me a good excuse, so to speak, to explore South Korea, and it's like a 2-in-1 trip. So I'm feeling really excited because I'm going to Korea for the first time, and it's also the first time ever where I'll be having a surgery done to myself, in this case a breast augmentation. So after doing a lot of research and checking out clinics in Singapore as well as internationally, I finally decided to do it with JW Plastic Surgery in South Korea at Gangnam District, and I'm looking forward to the whole process. So I'm at this amazing restaurant at the rooftop of the hotel I'm staying at, trying to calm my nerves because it's the surgery tomorrow. And it's been a pretty amazing journey so far. I had the consultation today and I had the chance to meet Dr. Seul and run through certain requirements about the surgery and also certain things to take care of, take note of, the risks involved. And I think what was pretty exciting for me was having to choose the cup size. I think, yeah, of course, that's going to be pretty interesting. And there's a certain element of the unknown as well because apparently we can't really confirm the exact cup size until the surgery itself. Like there's a rough estimate, rough gauge, like 350 to 380, but then again it also depends on during the surgery itself, what goes on in terms of evaluation of my chest and stuff like that. So it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens when I wake up and my response to the entire process. And I think one more thing that I realized just doing this, as with many other things in life, is just that when you make a decision, especially a big decision or whatever, people are very eager to jump on and just offer their opinions, about whether you should be doing it, you shouldn't be doing it, and all the possible different scenarios. You get positive reactions, you get mixed reactions, you get people who are not even interested, and at the end of the day, I think it's really about what you want for your own life and a test really about whether or not you are really clear about what you want. And if you're clear about what you want, you're passionate about the life that you want for yourself, you are going to pursue it regardless. And I think that is what this is all about. Enjoying your life, living it to the fullest, and yeah, I'm very eager to see what happens after the surgery, and I'll see you then. Hi everyone, so this is me one day post-surgery, and as you can see I'm pretty much bandaged up, and let me just take you through what happened yesterday. So I got up in the morning and the first thing that I found out was that I'm having my period, which honestly it just sucked big time because it just made things messy. On top of the surgery I need to deal with cramps and stuff like that. But as soon as I got to JW Hospital, I immediately felt reassured because I just shared it with the staff and they said, no problem. Do you have a tampon? I'm like, yes. Okay, so we'll handle it. So that was amazing. And as I was actually changing into the hospital attire to get into the surgery room, of course, the nerves got the better of me, just those few seconds where I'm wondering, what am I doing here? Do I really want this? But there was no feeling of regret. I still felt that, yes, this is it. It's just a matter of stepping out of the comfort zone, and I knew it was the right decision. And what was also quite funny was as soon as I was wheeled into the operating theatre and I was stripped down to the bone and lying on the table, the bed, whatever you call it, they were playing Macarena in the background, and that music just changed the entire mood for me, and it was just amazing. I was like, whoa, and the staff were like, do you like the music? I'm like, yes. And the next thing I knew, I passed out. I was like, okay. And when I got up a while later, or what seemed to be a while, of course it took a few hours, the surgery was over. And I just felt like I was asleep for a few hours. I was like just having a nap or something. And when I woke up, there was no pain at all, actually, but there was some tightness in the chest area. And also, my lips were very dry, I was feeling thirsty, which I suppose is normal, but I was just really blown away by the fact that I wasn't feeling pain, because in my mind,
images of people getting up post-surgery, right? You imagine that they are really weak, they can't walk, they can't talk, you know, and stuff like that. But for me, I really felt like, whoa, this is quite interesting. You know, I wasn't expecting this. So minimal pain, I would say, and mostly just tightness on the chest. And I felt a little bit dizzy, but that got better over time as well. So I rested there in the waiting room for about an hour or so. And then I was discharged, basically. And by that time, it was already like early evening. And I tried to get a taxi outside of the clinic, but unfortunately, I couldn't. It was difficult for the clinic to even call a taxi because the hotel is actually located not that far away from the clinic. It's just like a 10-15 minute walk. So I just basically walked back to the hotel post-surgery in my boots in the hospital attire. And that was just funny. You know, I wished I took a picture of it, but I don't have one. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is pretty interesting. You know, just walking back to the hotel post-surgery in hospital attire with my Dr. Martin boots, right? So I was like, okay, that's interesting. And I got back, you know, and after the surgery, we're actually advised to have like porridge and soft food and stuff like that. But when I went to the nearest cafe outside of the hospital, they no longer were serving food, you know, so the only options that I was left with was basically cake and latte, you know. So I had a gigantic pumpkin cake, which tasted really awesome, and a pumpkin latte, you know, and it was just like, whoa, this is very interesting. You know, I wasn't expecting surgery to end this way, but it did. As I was about to leave the cafe, I actually saw the doctor who performed my surgery, Dr. Seul, who is one of the top plastic surgeons in Korea. He was also like leaving the hospital. And I waved at him, and he actually just walked into the cafe and had a small chat with me. You know, and he asked me how was I feeling, the surgery went well, you know, I'll see you tomorrow. And I just felt that was so comforting, you know, how it all ended. Just totally different from some of the scenarios that was playing in my mind about how surgery could possibly get botched or go wrong or whatever. So that was really comforting. That was basically day one of my surgery experience. And honestly, a lot of stuff actually went on. And I would probably be sharing those experiences with you in a separate video after I have time to rest up a little bit, because this is day one after all, post-surgery. By the way, in case you're wondering if this is the final size of the chest, trust me, I've got no intentions of looking like a walking pair of watermelons. And most of what you see here is actually the swelling, you know, which is supposed to go down over the next few days and weeks. So we'll see how that goes. And if you're interested to follow me for the rest of the journey of the recovery process and also get more updates on the actual kinds of implants that were used, do stay tuned for future updates of my videos and subscribe and share, and I'll see you soon.